Okay, I think I'm live. Just having some technology problems there, so apologies for that. I just need to do one more thing. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. So I just completed a 5-day fast from food and technology and time. And I wanted to let you all know how it went and what lessons I learned from it. And if any of them can help you, then absolutely amazing. I'll caveat right at the beginning that I'm not a doctor, nutritionist, scientist, so please take everything I say with a pinch of salt, and it's only my opinion. So what did I actually do? Well, now it's Friday, 5 p.m. If we rewind the clocks to Sunday night at 9 p.m, I had my last meal. So I had a quinoa salad with loads of stuff in it and some asparagus and a fruit smoothie and some chocolate, and it was awesome. And then that's the last thing that I've eaten until just before this session, where I had a few almonds and a cup of tea to start my digestive system working again. And in that time, I've only had filtered water. Technology, very much the same. I turned all of my screens off literally at the power on Sunday night. And this is the first time that I've logged on since. I came on for half an hour on Monday to send our weekly newsletter. But apart from that, I've been completely off. And then at the last minute, I decided to throw a curveball and add time into the equation. So what does that mean? I switched all the clocks off in my house so that I had very little idea what time it was other than the sunset and the sunrise. So that's what I've been doing for the past 5 days. That's 120 hours, or just slightly less. And here I am now, and I'm going to explain how it all went and what I learned. So I think firstly, why did I do it in the first place? Well, personally, I've been wanting to do fasts of this nature for a while. I've had friends talk about it and read about the benefits. Then the few days before, I was not feeling very well, not feeling myself really, feeling a bit confused, a bit down, a bit depressed. So I thought, this is the time. And obviously we're in lockdown now, so it's quite a convenient time to do it. So I decided I was going to do it. And then I decided to combine the food and technology because they are two of my vices or addictions. And I knew that if I turned off from technology, then I would just be eating all the time. And if I fasted from food, I would just be on my phone and my computer all the time, and I wouldn't be able to really feel what was going on. So I decided to do them simultaneously to learn lessons about myself, to gain a better relationship with these things, food, technology, time. And I was in a bit of an unstable place, and I thought, it feels like it's the right time for me to do it. So that's why I decided to do it. Why do we do these things anyway? Why are we this crazy? Well, there is actually a lot of science behind fasting. Again, I'm not a scientist, a nutritionist. So if you're going to do it, do your own research, talk to somebody who knows more than I do. But fasting does have a lot of benefits. Scientifically, the major one is known to prevent and control diabetes, which is obviously a very good thing. It reduces inflammation. There's a lot of diseases and illnesses related to inflammation. It's been shown, I believe, to be very good for heart disease. So there are a lot of benefits to fasting. Benefits to switching off from technology are probably very logical. I think we all get a little bit addicted sometimes to our screens and our notifications, especially me. When I am not feeling great, I escape into my phone and into technology and into YouTube. So I wanted to give a really, really good break on that to see how I felt. And with the time thing, it was very interesting. I'm very busy, have a lot of meetings, appointments, etc. It's great, I enjoy it, but it can all stack up and it can be very difficult to find the space in between the time. So I thought, whilst I'm doing this, if I didn't turn off my clocks, I would be constantly looking at it, waiting for the end so that I could eat again. So I decided to switch off the clocks as well. And that's what I did and why I did it. So how did it go? Well, I think a lot of people will say, what did you spend your time on whilst you didn't have these things to concentrate on? And at the beginning, I thought the same, like, what the hell am I going to do? So I made a very light touch routine. I didn't want to make it too strict because that was one of the points of doing this. And what I did is I had a breakfast, lunch, and dinner meal, which was a pint of water. But I made sure that I did that as a ritual. And then the other things that I did is in the morning, I did some stretching and some meditation. After that, I cleaned my flat. My flat has never, ever been cleaner than it is right now. It is absolutely spotless. Been cleaning it for 5 days. I have read a lot of books. I did a lot of journaling and I took some walks. Thankfully, it's been really nice weather for the most part this week, especially today. I think I've got a tan and I never tan, so I'm very, very happy about that. And that was it, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it did actually fill the days quite well. And I wasn't really ever bored, which was great. Some days I didn't even get to do all the things that I wanted to do. So that was my schedule. And then how did it feel? Well, day one was, from the fasting perspective, it was fine because I've done 24-hour fasts before and I knew there was 4 days ahead, so didn't really feel it. That all felt fine. Probably felt a little bit like I wanted to be on my phone, but nothing crazy. Like I said, it was very interesting to not have time to track my movements by. So it was just very interesting, but all quite easy. Day 2 is meant to be the beginning of the hard stage of the fast, the food fast. And actually, it was really easy again. Very similar, very easy, very light. Day 3 is meant to be the hardest day. It was a little bit harder. I felt a bit hungry, but to be honest, I felt fine. It wasn't difficult. And I thought I was going to get off lightly because this is meant to be difficult. Day 4 was horrendous. When I've spoken to friends or read online, people say that day 2 and 3 are the hardest. Day 4 is very light and beautiful, and day 5 as well. And day 4 for me was horrific. I was so hungry all day. It just wouldn't subside at all. It made me very, very agitated, of course. I was wondering what the hell I was doing. I wasn't tempted to cheat because I knew that this was the right thing that I needed to do. So, but it was rough. And the hardest bit was in the evening when I got a really, really bad headache, which is common. That's if you're watching, you're meant to get a very bad headache when you fast. But it was really, really bad, like migraine, and apparently it's due to very low blood sugar, which makes a lot of sense. It made it very difficult for me to go to sleep though. So I was lying in bed for quite a few hours, just feeling like shit, to be honest. Thankfully, that was last night. Thankfully, it subsided enough for me to fall to sleep, and I actually had an amazing sleep after that. And I woke up feeling absolutely spectacular. I don't know if I felt as good in myself ever as I have done today. I can't really describe the feeling of how joyful I feel, how much love I feel in my heart and my whole body. And I didn't really want it to end. Actually, I was thinking of carrying on going for a few days, but I haven't done that. I have broken my fast now, but today I've just felt absolutely unbelievable. I can't even describe in words how I felt. So I'm very grateful. It's been a very interesting journey. I thought I was getting off lightly. Day 4 was one of the hardest days I've had, and day 5 is one of the best days I've had. So what did I learn from this experience? Well, I've written it down. I think there are 3 main lessons that I'm taking from this. The first one is probably obvious. I have become really, really, really appreciative of food and technology and time. I love all of those things. It's just when I have them in so much abundance, which I usually do, that food and technology I'm all over all day, every day. Time, I'm living by the clock non-stop. I needed that space to become truly appreciative of the whole thing. And I mean the whole thing. Obviously food, there's been the hardest bit, and I'm so grateful now to eat food. But also, I love technology, and I've become more in love and more grateful for technology and time. Like, I love having a business, going to meetings, having a schedule, and I've become more appreciative of that after going through this experience, and we'll be able to look at it with a lot more love than I was before. So that was lesson 1, and to be honest, that's the lesson that I thought that I was going to get out of it. If I didn't, then I would be doing something wrong. So very happy that that came through. The other 2 are really icing on the cake that I didn't expect to feel and learn such things as what I'm about to say. So the second lesson was that it's made me change the way that I see and look at gratitude. What do I mean by that? I've been very grateful recently, which is a good thing, but I've been looking at it in a very mind-based, logical way. So I'm very grateful to have this food. I could easily not have food. Or I'm very grateful to be alive. I could easily not be alive. That's really positive perspective to have, but that is what it is. It's perspective, and it's based on logic. What I've come to realize over the past 24 hours is that true deep down gratitude actually doesn't come from the mind, it comes from the heart. And that expresses itself not in logical statements, but it expresses itself in an uncontrollable smile. It expresses itself in a deep laugh from your belly, and it expresses itself in tears and crying. And God knows I've been crying quite a bit in the past 24 hours. And actually, deep gratitude comes from that place and expresses itself in those ways. And that's one of the most amazing lessons that I've ever learned. And actually, when it's coming from that place, then gratitude is actually interchangeable with love at that point. And I haven't really felt that way about gratitude before, so I'm very grateful for that. And the third lesson, final lesson, is about not taking things too seriously. So we all know sayings like don't sweat the small stuff, which is great. Of course, don't do that if possible. But actually, what's been happening to me is that my yoga practice, my floating practice, my meditation practice has become quite serious. I think partly the way I've been taught, but also my mind getting in the way. And what it ends up is like, right, now I'm going to meditate at 9 p.m. I'm going to meditate. And right, now I'm going to watch my thoughts. Now I'm going to have a calm mind. And it becomes very, very serious. And when it becomes serious, it's also because there's an end goal in mind. So I'm going to meditate so that I can be calmer and be able to deal with my problems better. Or I'm going to do yoga so I can be more flexible and be more in my body. But what happens for me when it becomes as serious, when we have this attachment and these end goals, is that actually I'm not really getting at the heart of what we're trying to achieve through meditation, which is that actually it should just be fun and it should be a dance. And this is from Alan Watts, but when you're dancing, you're not trying to get to the end of the dance. You're just trying to be in the dance. And that's really what I'm seeing now around mindfulness. It's not to get anywhere in particular, because there'll always be a next place. If you calm your mind a bit, you'll want it a bit calmer. If you stand on your head, you'll want to stand on your head for longer. It's literally about being playful and doing the dance. And that is the whole point of it. And I believe that we can achieve this when we take the seriousness out of it and make it more fun. And some of you might know that this is one of Osho's teachings as well. And it's really, really resonated with me throughout, especially the past 24 hours. And I've then sat down and meditated, and it's been chalk and cheese compared to what I was doing before. I'm just literally sat there playing with the meditation with no predetermined end goal, and it's made me so much more present. Whenever there's an end goal, we're not being present, we're living in the future. And now I'm just dancing in that meditation. Hopefully when I do yoga and floating as well, I can try and do the same. Obviously these things are very slippery and you can lose them very quickly, but this is what I've realized today. Today's been a very, very powerful day. Those lessons to me have been quite life-changing, and I feel very fortunate to have had the experience. And that's it. I hope some of that was useful, and I would love to, I don't know if I can see comments. Oh yeah, I can see the comments. Thank you to everybody for leaving those comments. It's really beautiful. I would love to know if you've had any experiences doing fasting from anything, food, tech. You can comment on this video and let me know. You can also send me a direct message if you have any questions. I'd love to talk more about it. If you are going to do any of this yourself, the food in particular, please be careful. It's obviously not eating for 5 days can be dangerous, so please get the right advice, do your research. Don't take my word for granted. It's different for everybody. But thank you all so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the day. It's so beautiful outside, and I look forward to catching up again soon. Lots of love to everybody.